Let's start with something we all know. You throw a ball at a wall. The ball comes back. Simple, right? But what if that wall isn't a wall at all, but a speeding train? If you throw a ball at a train moving toward you, the ball will come back much faster than when you released it. In space, we have such trains. They are black holes, objects with gravity so powerful that they bend the very fabric of reality. David Kipping asks a question that changes the rules of the game. What if instead of running away, we use them as propulsion?
You could use it to move civilization.
What is the mechanism of the halo drive that you proposed?
The halo drive, this was a fun little project I worked on about black holes and really asking what are the limits of transportation in the galaxy. So Freeman Dyson, to give the little backstory behind this, had this idea of using two neutron stars that were in a very compact orbit, circling around one another. And they get so close that they move close to the speed of light in their in-spiral phase. And so he suggested you could do a gravitational slingshot around one of those stars. And because they're moving so quickly, you could steal velocity essentially close to the speed of light and then travel between the stars. And the beauty of this is that you're stealing energy. So your spaceship doesn't really require a propulsion system. It just drifts in at the right time and comes out. The problem with this is that that's like a blender, right? So these stars are moving so fast in those final moments. It's like trying to throw a stone into a blender and hope that it bounces off the propeller at the right moment. And it's a very hazardous environment to fly into, a high radiation environment. So maybe not a healthy thing to do. So I suggested, hey, why not replace those those neutron stars with black holes? And a black hole has the advantage that you don't need to get so close to it because we could use light. So we shine a light beam and we just miss the black hole just to the side.
Black hole as a cosmic engine?
Yes, we're using it as an engine to power our spaceship. So there's two black holes, or maybe even just one that's moving very quickly, and we fire a light beam, a laser beam, and it skirts around the edge, around the event horizon. It doesn't quite go into the event horizon, just off the event horizon. And so it will orbit around and complete one, it's called a boomerang geodesic. It kind of looks like a mirror. So you can actually see your reflection. If you looked at just the right angle around a black hole, you could see yourself. Yeah. So this light beam skirts right around and comes back to your spaceship. And when it does, it will, like throwing a ping pong ball off a moving wall, it will pick up energy. Imagine like a tennis racket that's moving through space and a ball hits it, it comes off with more energy than it initially hit. And so this black hole that's moving towards you will force the light beam to pick up more energy. So it will get blue shifted, and then that will hit your spaceship and propel you forward. So the beauty of this system is that you could propel very, very large vehicles through space very, very fast. So you could literally take Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, and propel it at relativistic speeds through the galaxy with this thing, and the black hole wouldn't even notice because it's so massive. So if you wanted to move an entire civilization or a huge amount of mass, this would be the great way to do it. And there's about 1 million black holes in the galaxy altogether. We don't know where they all are, but we expect there are about 1 million from stellar formation history. And so there's a network essentially out there waiting for us to tap into. And I like to think of it a bit of like a highway system, right? So these are the highway points between each black hole, and you can accelerate and decelerate between these points. And then you get off the off ramp at each one and then you go to your local star system.
Could the halo drive mechanism push a ship to the speed of light?
Not to the speed of light. It would be limited by the speed of the black hole itself. So these these black holes have varying speeds, but some of them
close to speed of light, right?
Yeah, I would say maybe like 30-40% speed of light, something like this. Yeah.
Is it technically possible to create a prototype of the halo drive?
Possibly. We don't obviously have a black hole. That's the big problem. So you need a black hole to test this. There are some analogies to black holes we've been able to make in the laboratory setting called acoustic black holes, where instead of light being trapped in an event horizon, you can get sound waves to be trapped in an event horizon. And so you might be able to do a kind of sonic version of it, more or less just to demonstrate the idea. But really, if you wanted to truly utilize this thing, you need something which can do this light reflection technique, which is what the black hole serves. So you need something that's moving fast and can bend light around it. So for that, you really do need a black hole. Yeah, I mean, when I approach problems like this, I think of stories as science as a conversation. So you have to listen to what's been said before. And so imagine you're at a cocktail party and there's a group of people talking. So I walk into the room and I hear Freeman Dyson talking, and he's talking about these neutron stars and how they merge together. And in my mind, I'm realizing there's a problem with that suggestion. And so I hear what he's added to the conversation. And I think we can all do this as scientists. We can all think, is there anything about that which could be improved? Is there anything about that which may be an assumption there that I don't like, that maybe I might challenge? And so our job as scientists is not to necessarily reinvent the wheel, but to take ideas that have come before, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and to tweak it and to say, is there a better way of doing that? So this is a tweak. And I hope other people will tweak it in the future. I hope someone else will come along and find an even better way.
So one futuristic question. If you had a halo drive, how would you use it?
You could use it to move civilizations across the galaxy.
How would you?
How would I use it?
Yeah.
I guess I would love to travel and see another Earth-like system and just see what is it like. Yeah, are there other creatures on there? So for me, I mean, some astronomers are drawn by the question of how the universe works. So maybe some people would travel to the center of Sagittarius A star or something. Maybe they'd fly themselves into a black hole to see like what happens. Well, how does the physics work? But other scientists and other astronomers like myself, I think we're more drawn to the question of life, and that has always been the ultimate question for me. So I would want to travel and understand how special are we.
What a Dyson sphere is.
Yeah, so this is again one of Freeman Dyson's brilliant ideas. And he was thinking about the ultimate limits of energy harvesting. So we know we're going through a period on the Earth of building more and more solar panels on this planet, of harvesting solar energy. And of course, we're kind of limited by the surface area of the Earth eventually. I mean, we're nowhere near that limit right now, but in principle, you could tile one hemisphere of the Earth completely in solar panels, and you wouldn't be able to do any better than that. So the next step might be to go to space. And in fact, some companies are trying to do this as well right now. They're trying to build space stations, space satellites that will have solar panels and then maybe beam the energy back to the Earth. And so you might grow more and more and more of these things. And eventually you would have so many of them in orbit of the sun, which of course is your energy source, that the sun is basically enshrouded in satellites to such a degree it almost becomes invisible from another star system. So when Dyson described it, he did use the term sphere, I believe, in that original paper, but most of the time we think of it today, we think of it not as a monolithic structure, but more of a swarm of material of some kind. It could be, I mean, a solid structure just isn't stable. So that's why we tend not to focus on that. It would have enormous tensile strength, it would break itself apart, and even the strongest materials we know of, no way could sustain this kind of force. It'd also be unstable to gravity. If you just prodded it on one side, the sphere would fall into the star. So there's lots and lots of problems with a solid sphere, but a swarm material is quite reasonable, and it would be the ultimate way for a civilization to harvest vast amounts of energy from their star. So what's happening is on the inside of that sphere, or the inside of that swarm, they are collecting energy from the star. Now that energy can't be destroyed, and by conservation of energy, energy has to be conserved. So the energy has to come out somehow. Otherwise the thing would just get hotter and hotter and hotter and it'll all bore to death on the inside. So the energy has to come back out. So the question is, how does it come back out? If they think about your laptop or a piece of like a camera that's working, it will get warm. So it's turning the chemical energy in the battery into thermal energy is essentially what it's doing. And so the amount of thermal energy that comes off your laptop will be the same as the chemical energy that went into it, plus the light, plus the sound. That's the other two sources of light, of energy which come off it. But all of those energy sources have to add up. Everything that comes out have to equals everything that goes in. So these Dyson spheres have to be emitting energy, a lot of energy, a sun amount of energy, a star amount of energy in some way. And if they're doing calculations, if they're doing computation, it would come out as thermal waste heat in the infrared. But it doesn't necessarily, it could come out in neutrinos, it could come out in gravitational waves, but it has to come out somehow.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure.